What are you talking about me?
Delacour.
Brad?
Brad.
Yeah. Oh.
Talking about him helping us with the youth.
Yeah,
They
but
didn't recognize what they did for us
they,
Friday night.
yeah, about they took up. Yeah.
Yeah, $630 something it was.
I'm glad you said something. There's another 20, somebody
Oh, okay.
gave it after you left. And
Okay.
I was gonna get it to you, but I
Appreciate it. That'll work. So we're gonna send them a check, probably before that,
yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I thought that was good. I said, well, we make a couple $100. That's better than nothing. Show that our county tried.
Rob said there were some people that were throwing $50 bills there.
It ended up being $630 something.
So you got 20 more.
20 more there, so there you go.
650.
And then we don't send some too, so, yeah.
That's good.
We'll make a little donation.
Yeah.
You know, like I told them, I thought this one of our guys, I would hope
That other
folks
folks.
reach out to our fans.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's a good thing to do. It's just, that's a good thing to do.
so that's why I had somebody recognize the kids, and, because they're trying to get them, hey, look what we did.
Yeah.
So we had some others that they did places like.
Yeah.
But that's why I told them, I said, we don't recognize them, not us, but they the ones that did. Somebody gave it us, got some money set down.
Yeah. They come up there after, it was after the ball game, and the cheerleaders, somebody gave it to the cheerleader, that's what it was.
And then that's what we kind of waiting on too, was that some other guy, another guy reached out to me, and he said, I can give you money your first thing Tuesday morning. So, but I hope he won't know how to do it, I hope that he can send it. He said, well, what about send it to you, send it all at one time? I said, well,
Maybe, just tell me you could just do a maximum or more.
that's right. Well, this guy might do it.
I hear you.
He made it.
That'd be good.
Brian, how you doing today?
Look what I done did today. See that bruise?
Ooh, how'd you do that?
I fell in my daddy's yard at lunch. I was walking down his little sidewalk to his front porch, and my ankle turned out from under me, and when I tried to catch myself, my watch dug into my
Well,
hand.
yeah.
Look, I went and shot another those there.
Oh, I bet you know it's this big.
The older I get,
The more it
the easier
hurts.
I bruise.
Well, you know, that's a good thing she didn't break it.
I'm like, it hurts.
I know.
It's so sore, but it is what it is.
You know, I was in a car wreck, folks pulled out the phone in. I broke this wrist right here, and they didn't even catch it at the hospital in the emergency room. I got home and that thing swelled up to that big.
Oh, goodness.
And I called Mark and Donna come to the house, Perry, over at the sea, check on me. She looked at me and she said, Brian. I said, yeah, it's swelled. She said, I think it's broke. Look at it. I said, yeah, I think so.
There's a good possibility.
Yeah, and then they had to fix all them little bones in there. I had to get the micro hand surgeon in Atlanta to do it. That was another. I've had my share of.
I guess she got another one for us for the rest of them.
Yes, it's still in there on my desk.
Medical stuff. Now, how long is it, how long are we talking about this meeting last? The whole time? Till
God,
6?
I hope not.
I hope so too. I hope not.
You got 4 people presenting, the library, the sheriff, the rec department, and
Well, the
Katie.
sheriff ain't gonna be long. I can tell you.
Cross your fingers that this is right, because this thing's been giving me fits today. Agenda.
I'm waiting on him to come back. So you know about the,
Yay.
getting the, website.
Yep, it is up and going.
Good. I'm excited about that.
You and me both. I am just ready for the last little tidbit of scheduling people to come in and do their headshots or whatever for their department pages. And then it'll be done. Done.
Oh.
Brian?
When that started out.
Is it something I sent or did or something?
No, this is somebody that sent me one, and I wondered if you got one from
Yeah.
them.
If it has anything to do with Frank, I've got two of them, believe me.
So you talking about?
Did you get one from Virginia Baker?
Her and about 20 others.
Because she's upset at Frank, if we don't do something, she told me that she wasn't gonna be involved anymore.
No, you seen that thing I sent that Miss Harvin sent out the other day?
Yeah.
I don't like it. Well, no, let me take it back. I appreciate the people that are concerned about stuff, but you said copy everybody else.
Well, I know, because that's the reason, just like this right here, and I didn't know whether I should just copy everybody on this too. I probably should have, I'll do that, matter of fact. I was
Let me
gonna
find this one I got the other day.
there's another one here. She's got a fan. So she sent me all the pictures. She said, is this enough proof that you represents the people? Why are we going to this? I'm going to get beer.
Everybody needs you, Tom.
When I click the button, it says insufficient
I
space.
was gonna share it with you.
Okay, so I'm gonna do this right now.
I get you, if we don't keep it, do that.
They make them uncomfortable so you don't wanna stay long.
We'll see more people coming.
But we make them uncomfortable so you don't stay long.
We're just here for.
We're just here just in case y'all
Just
got
in
any
case that's a question.
Okay. Don't know anything.
Look, that's what I told them, they don't need me, y'all's coming, I mean, y'all, we just come for support, so we say we're here.
Oh, cheerleader. Damn, what a day, what a week, last week, golly. Keep your holidays, man, that makes it super. Cause Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was like 6 days in one, just because of it.
We'll see, like, when the fair gets here, like mine's already started getting busy, from the time the fair gets here till Christmas. It's like every weekend, just about every evening, there's something. We got some. Well, Damon ain't bad, it's terrible, cause I gotta be there every night.
Vote for me,
Vote for me.
Sheriff Moore.
7630.
I mean, Roger.
If we don't do a good enough job throughout the year, brother, it ain't gonna make no difference.
But so, that's the reason why I go to cafe, like, a lot of people won't come to sheriff's office and talk to us about certain things. So you have to kind of be in their comfort zone, and so they'll tell you stuff going on in the county.
Yeah.
Now, some of it, I ain't gonna lie, you ain't gonna have, but I listen to them.
I get it. Mine's always the same topic thing that I'm doing.
But now, on that Saturday, I don't go for the whole day, I split it up, I go for a little bit that Saturday and go a little bit that evening.
Zach may have to run an article in the paper about how to keep your kids calm at the football game.
Probably not.
Fighting.
Well, that's where
more?
Did y'all notice that the other day, Brian?
Oh, I was right there when it was all going on, and,
Which time?
well, I was right there when one of them, and the deputy was telling them to just, what was it? Not calm down, but just sort of stand down or something like that down on that right there. And they just up there in his face hollering, and I wanna go down there and slap him, but, you know.
Well, at least they got one good one though. Y'all had one that was arrestable warrants on armed robbery.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been looking for him. Had a pickup order on him for a while.
Dummy comes with a darn police everywhere.
What, he's He won for armed work for robbery.
Yep.
Come to the football game, start trouble.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, I know you didn't ever come back up, so yeah, I figured you was having to work.
No, I stood that off.
She is at a conference that happens today and tomorrow.
Well, that's what.
Now get the pleasure
Well,
of my company.
I'm kinda helping Jeff a little bit for you.
Christina texted me a minute ago, said she's gonna stop in and
Be
Who
done.
did, Christina?
There. Oh, God. But I'm glad to see you there, though.
Look, Darren is great. You know, one thing, Darren can watch the ball game. He can call the
Oh,
penalty.
yes.
He knows exactly everything.
So y'all need him up over y'all.
We've had him at y'all. And then at the pharmacy.
There's meeting room Wi-Fi.
Lord, but, you know,
I think it's Madison Meeting Room,
Okay. Yeah.
but the M in Madison are, what is the password, Thomas? Madison Meeting Room?
BOC.
Isn't that,
So y'all need him up over.
I think the first M is capital and nothing else.
So, that boss would ask for it now.
Yes.
Yeah, he got moved.
He's
I
got
have to go back
moved.
and all that.
Yeah.
and all that. But that's just,
But I'll take up for him in a heartbeat, though.
he's, yeah. I was down when we was building the fire hall, he was down there right in the middle of it. And whatever, he was coding and stuff and doing
Good work, thank you.
It did work good. My brain is kind of working.
Yeah, he walked. When,
remind me, if you can, to bring my battery,
Bring what?
battery's real to work.
Batteries real?
I mean, it's like.
Make a note, tell Todd to bring battery.
It was like, you know, both of them.
Cause I'm gonna take that front off down here and pull that cable back up,
That's all right.
microphone back up.
Oh, okay.
That microphone, the cable pushed back through the hole,
Somebody yanked it out again.
pushed it back through the hole, I guess, but anyway, I can take them screws out and just stick it back through the hole. I'll put me a rubber grommet on it, maybe it'll come back through.
We had people ripping that out, we replaced
We had dragged him out, man, so, and all that stuff.
Later.
Well, see, that's what he did that.
What are you doing here?
He got in there and.
What am I doing here?
I mean, I figured you were still at school, sorry.
No, I just went there, it's early.
Then he.
Oh, did you?
Checked it a little bit, he got to the next level, and then Randy was trying to
Frank, that's our newest IT guy right there.
take off.
Hey, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I seen, Justin at the football game the other night.
Did you?
Yeah, he come up.
Yeah, he told me he had off the weekend, so he came up and
He did.
kind of just hang out with his family.
But that's just like.
They like it down there at school.
He did. He said he's starting to get,
We took care of
acquainted
him
with
before we
everything.
went to the nursing home.
Him started,
Yeah, copy
he can walk in the room.
Thank you, thank you. Have some
He's like a rock star. If he gets into like movie stuff like he wants to do, he'll probably. Justin never makes a
There you go.
Nobody looking at him, just taking advantage of it.
well, that's a good thing though.
Oh, yeah, taking his money and then.
He would go.
That's dead bodies I don't wanna see.
It's not. At least they don't look dead. They must be the last looking people I've ever seen.
But then he come up, then he had like.
We got our grants,
He knew better off.
11 something the other night.
He was a whole lot better off.
Hey buddy.
It's set up on
You
there.
got them set up? All right, thank you. sir.
Yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up that I was gonna ask Nathan to go to the rec department, maybe in the morning,
Yeah, something like that.
and evaluate, some of those small engine stuffs they got, and tell me what I actually need to replace versus what I don't. Yeah, like what needs to be rebuilt. I want him to evaluate some of the equipment they've got and tell me what needs to be replaced that ain't worth fixing, and or what does need to be replaced for budget purposes. You know, like let him run the gator and say, yeah, well, it just needs this or this needs that, or no, this thing's completely wore out, it needs another one. You know,
I
on
hope
some of their equipment, because he's small engine guy.
That's what you do it.
Because right now, we're just throwing numbers at a wall. But I was just,
5,000, that's fine.
yeah.
He has 8 gates.
Well, that screen-in porch was not a screen-in porch, it was actually the pavilion that the pad's already built over by the splash pad. That was the whole pavilion.
Oh, was for that screen?
Correct.
In front of
Yeah.
5002?
Yeah.
5502?
Oh, it died.
Yeah, just take this.
But anyway, all right, buddy, thank you. All right.
In the office.
But yeah, we got it submitted about 11 o'clock. That was, you did. I
They
asked,
not, they hadn't still asked him out.
no, they did not.
Oh, and that.
Not like the last one.
I talked to Scott Derrick, the Department of Community Affairs that Brian had put me in touch with
He's a
about
big
something else. And
Yeah.
he was saying that they really, compared to the others, they only had a handful of applications.
That's it. Correct, so when the day before, on Thursday, we was on a webinar here in this room with, the majority of them got kicked out because the window was so short. A lot of the numbers they were submitting was last year's numbers on last year's projects, which didn't apply. And they knew what it was, so they kicked them all out. And that's why there was no need, and like she said, there's no need in going super drastic on a match, because we got counties that put in a match, that's getting it. We got cities that's not putting in a match, that's gonna get it. Because there's an abundance of money, and that's why we done what we did.
Depends on how
She told us,
long.
15% is gracious, Quinn. She said, you gotta do that. But I felt like $1 million was right. But not
Well,
$2 million.
what it'll do is put, if we put $1 million in on that, it'll still give us, what, 2.2 million that we can kind of throw towards this to use.
That's
on
right,
other
yeah,
stuff.
absolutely. But that girl was Johnny on spot though. So there's another big grant out there right now, Parks and Recreation. I'm gonna bring her in here hopefully tomorrow and let her sit down with Kelsey and Shelley about that senior center. I think we're gonna end up, and this is all just thinking out the box, I think we're gonna split that building. We're not gonna get enough land to do that massive building. In other words, we're going to cut that gymnasium off and put it over by the rec department and put the senior center over here. We're just gonna have to, we're not gonna be able to get the land adjacent to accommodate something that's 380 foot long. So we spoke about it earlier.
But just the gym part, everything else, the offices
Yes.
and leisure services and everything, whatever we're gonna call it, would still be in, under the
Correct.
roof.
Just that double gymnasium, and that's gonna take off over 100 feet of length that I don't need. And I can put that up there in the grassy area now with parking. But I can take that senior center and put it across the road, put it in whole, it don't matter. But it looks like I'm gonna have to break that building.
We need to.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Well, we got a new one?
Yes. You'll keep getting new ones until
Okay,
September 30th.
all right. Well, I'm glad to see you're not.
Reckon we could get you a printer that could do something a little bit bigger than this.
I guess we have a blueprint printer for me to see it.
We really want y'all to see that.
Yeah, we really don't want you to see it, that's why.
You've had me on your side for far too long.
Well, I'll just tell you, okay, you got my vote, let's move on.
Well, I'm glad I get a new one at least. It's not like trying to make notes over here to change.
Make notes on this. Yeah, so when we make
Well,
the meetings and anything in between, it all gets updated, and that's why you get that.
all right.
What I can tell you
I need to
about
start
this
making.
is there's some yellow, there's some white, some black, and some green.
I don't know if we could offset the cost, but if all the board of commissioners had a laptop provided by the county, you could have it live, and you could run it live, we wouldn't have to print so many. Just saying, or a tablet.
We could do those revisables.
We had hoped that when we printed this today, it would have been the last print, but it's not.
It's not gonna be.
We thought it was, but
Our last print will be when we print after it's
Correct.
or after it's adopted.
at 3:05, we were still changing numbers.
And I'm sure there's still gonna be more on the expenditure end.
It is a county.
Just trying to get it right. We still got a row of question marks that we gotta get
It's
answered.
getting real good.
I know, that's what I'm saying, it is a county. It's just one of those things.
It is. It's
We gotta go through to get it right.
There's nothing in here that's a dramatic change.
No.
It's just tweaking.
We're still tweaking down. We're still paring down to more
Realistic.
nothing is going up, everything's coming down. So everything is coming down to get it more realistic and more feasible and more operational for certain things that maybe were submitted and we just haven't, until, you know, as we're doing this kind of section, it's things that have come through that have been like, oh wait, we didn't catch that, but we weren't focusing on that department yet. And now that we're focusing on some of these coming up on the back end of it, you know, towards the tail end, we're starting to see those things that are really glaring out, and we're just staring them down.
That's right.
There's nothing that is like, the only thing that's
If you
really
can't
like
read it,
gonna
just
come out and get us,
Say,
it's gonna
yay.
be the big change.
that's right.
A whole lot more money.
paper. Just like the,
That's-
the affordable care.
No, we'll
No,
get in that.
we're ballparking, but we're ballparking a pretty good ballpark.
Yeah. I think Derek just said, yeah, we can't read it, just pass it. It's sort of like this.
No, those people do that.
We gotta pass the bill.
So if you don't hear anything
pass it
out
to
of
read it. Yeah. We gotta pass it to a more bigger paper, you know.
I'm familiar with this because I know all about social promotion. I mean, I was the poster child for that in Madison County.
I think you're lying about this, Benny. I don't know.
Hang on, Lacey and I may
Her
have
email, hang on.
Hold on. It's not logged into the county site.
Oh, which is live now, the new one. It got live today
Let me grab my
at noon.
What I'll do is I'll email it to you, and maybe we can put it.
Do you know where her email is on this thing?
Just go to the county site and go into your email.
Oh, I have no idea what my password is.
Okay, well, hold on, let me send it to myself and I'll remember.
Okay.
3:30. Yeah, just make sure we're on time. So you didn't have to leave early. Did you have a good weekend?
Saturday, we got the kids, both the kids, Jenny Kelsey, Penny puking.
Yeah.
One out.
Because that's what I use at work.
I thought it was a great
Saturday,
Saturday.
too much junk. Saturday, while we were at the game with the grandparents' house.
Oh, yeah.
Candy, cookies, popcorn, pizza, a chicken sandwich, and something else too. I think that was.
Well, grandparents are always supposed to send grandkids home high on Red Bulls and Skittles.
Yeah, or if you can't have Red Bulls, you get those red pops, you know, those.
Yeah, right.
We got them, I got them up there in the, press box, high school. Rice and him and his little buddies got a hook of one the other day. They were bouncing off the wall.
Zach, you see the announcement on social media earlier?
No.
The Falcons finally found a team that they might be able to play. Alabama. I think it'll be the closest game ever. They both horrible, which is good. I was proud Georgia Southern knocked off Nebraska, and then they fired the head coach.
App State beat Texas A&M.
I know, that's what I love the best, that's just, the Texas A&M.
And Kentucky went to the swamp and won. That was,
Texas,
they tried their best not to let them win, though.
Texas should beat Alabama.
Texas
They should have beat
And in
Alabama.
fact, I don't think the call in the end zone was right. I mean,
No, it was a
Alabama got
Oh, that was terrible.
I got a favor on that one.
That was a good game.
It was good, man.
I didn't want us to go to number one, though.
But I enjoyed Florida and Kentucky too, that was good.
I think that'll be our hardest game, Kentucky, this year.
Yeah, I think it probably will. Because we gotta go to Kentucky and play at night.
But if there was any doubt about Stetson Bennett last year, so far, he's been flawless.
I take the little old school of thought, every game, we're undermatched, we're overmatched, we can't win, we're lucky to score it all.
That's sort of what Kirby said,
That's what
wasn't
Lou
it?
Holtz always said, he would beat everybody to death.
Kirby said, this is an awful game he played against Stanford.
Yeah.
But he only played 100 players and he played so much, even on the scout team. Start looking at where they pulled them from.
That kid from Athens Christian ain't no joke, that third string quarterback.
Well, I think all of them, yeah, but I mean, they even pulled some off the scout team. I played them.
What did you say, Dan?
I never have understood how they rank teams, though, preseason ranked teams, where 50% of the players you've never seen on the field.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's all by,
They didn't get Notre Dame right.
Somebody,
They didn't get Notre Dame right. this
oh
year.
my God, well, you ought to live with Catholics.
But Vegas runs,
I mean, you know, and I'm talking about, you know, somewhere down the line, it's the Pope Church in Notre Dame. And she is just, you know, Jesus, Debbie, would you learn to talk like that?
Missy, do you wanna come up here also so you can follow along with that, just in case?
Yes, I'm right here, things up there.
Alright, or scoot over. Alright, so we're gonna try to go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody to the Madison County Board of Commissioners Budget Work Session. This September 12th at 3:30, it's actually 3:44 now. We had some technical difficulty starting. Statement remarks from citizens on today's agenda. I don't think we have any citizens here other than Zach. Everybody else is employees in some way.
well, they still citizens.
Yeah,
I think they still citizens, though, right?
they still, according to the tax bill.
I hope so. I feel like I'm still a citizen too, maybe, yeah.
Zach, you got any questions, just by chance, before we get started? All right, budget work session, discuss the 2023 budget. Library. Ms. Alita Turner, branch manager. How you, young lady?
Doing all right, how are you, sir?
Good, good, good.
Oh, thank you all for having us here today.
What department is that, Missy?
Library.
You mean we're gonna be in the library?
I'm gonna pick at you like Brian did, so small I can't see it.
I don't know what. Maybe we needed a cheat sheet for numbers, what goes with what. They give us
Okay,
one,
it's on the next to last page.
Really?
It's Department 89.
Gotcha. Thank you.
89.
On here, it says,
Well, I think
it's the expenditures, right?
Yes.
I didn't mean I brought it, I just, no, they get it.
Yeah, down to- Yeah.
well, that's probably needed.
Okay, here's the numbers. Take a little minute.
All right, young lady.
All right, again, thank you all for having us this afternoon.
I like that.
We, this year, are requesting a 4.78%, which is $10,557.09 increase in the budget. And there are two purposes for that. The first is for a 4% increase in salary for library staff. We are still trying to get staff up in competition with other area agencies, and so that is the first request. The second is for a flat $4,000. Nationally, fines and fee collections are down. That's the amount we've been down this year for fines and fee collections. It is part of a national trend, and so we're asking for a budget boost to make up that shortfall so that we can keep using the budget towards the programming and types of events we like to have. And to that point, then I've got this handout with some photos for y'all, just talking about some of the things we've been doing. We're very active. We have been working hard at building partnerships with other organizations in the county. Right there at the top, you see we're doing a lot with the senior center. Everything from caroling at Christmas time, to crafts programs, to going over and reading stories while they listen, and having a really good time and asking us to come back and read more, which is very gratifying. We've had programs with outside folks, including Woodman Life. They've come and done a program for Flag Day. On the second page, I've got highlighted for you a regular program we have called Inclusive Book Club. Advantage has a program called Fine Finish, and the folks in that group all have various disabilities. And our Inclusive Book Club is designed so that people of whatever ability can enjoy it. They get to look at the books, but also stories are read to them, so whichever way they take in information the best, they can hear it. They get to do activities such as craft projects like making the necklace there. They've had a big emphasis on dog books just because they really, really enjoy dogs. That's been really popular. Anyway, the folks in this group enjoy it so much, and want to stay at the library so much, we have now added a second club for them called Inclusive Computer Club, because they also wanted computer time and they were running out of time with everything else they were doing. So we're having them twice a month now, and really everybody has a good time and big smiles all around. Some other agencies we partner with are the Red Cross. We do blood drives regularly, and we've got one coming up in October on the 6th. We also collect food for the food bank. So for some folks it's easier to drop off while they're just already in the library. So we work with food bank on that. We try to have all kinds of programs. We worked with the American Library Association and FINRA to bring a traveling exhibit that kids got to have a really good time working with interactive exhibition pieces to learn about how to use money, how to budget money, how to be smart with their money. Ms. Hannah Wolf is our new children's department specialist, and she hit the ground running this year and has not slowed down. We're having weekly story times again that are well attended. She puts together special events. You see the picture there of Frog and Toad, and you see they're holding some of the Frog and Toad storybooks. She has anime club that they're very enthusiastic tween participants who attend that to watch Japanese animation shows. She has a free subscription that's made available to libraries from a channel called Crunchyroll. And so every few months she re-ups that free subscription and works with the teens to watch that. She has a family book club. This was an idea that I thought was very neat. She picks a picture book and a chapter book that are on matched themes and puts activities with that. So there's a whole little kit then that a parent can take home, and their readings are appropriate for the youngest kids, readings appropriate for older kids, and then they can all discuss things as a family. And for teens, she's recently started a teen book club to target that age group. She also has more recently started a STEMternoon afternoon weekly on Wednesdays, so that tweens can come over, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Tweens, I think, come to that program, and they get to play with electronics kits, building kits. There are going to be coding exercises she's planned. She's working on building a whole roster so that each time they come, they've got a new thing to try. She also reached out to Walls of Books, so we've got a corporate sponsor or business sponsor for the teen bookworm bag. Teens get to take home a free book that has been provided by Walls of Books along with some activities she has done. So she's done all kinds of things. We try to have educational programs, not just for the kids, but for adults and all ages. This photo was from a program on hurricanes. The program was meant for adults, and we got some good adult participation, but the two little girls there, one of them in particular loves weather and is fascinated to learn all about weather. So their parents brought them, the parents homeschooled the little girls, and then they made connections with these two professors who came to present the program. So they left with plans to communicate further with them to get materials for teaching their daughters more about weather. And that's just one example of people come to the library for one thing and then they end up making further connections with others that they can continue.
Can we go back on just to the budget things right now? 'Cause,
Yes, sir.
not to trying to cut you short, but I've got 4 more behind you and I got a meeting starting at 6, and some of
Understood.
them are gonna be in depth. So on the budget itself, not to say that it was all great,
Okay.
trust me. We are very thankful for what you're doing. So the living wage increase for the library staff,
Yes, sir.
where did the 4% come from? Because I'll tell you, on the Madison County side, for an employee here in the county, we run a 0 to 3%,
Okay.
okay? So I'm wondering where the 4% was just something that, who dictated that for y'all?
I think we're trying to bring it up closer to some other area libraries. You may know that in Clark County, they were recently able to begin having a base pay of $15 an hour.
Mhm.
And so we're just trying to get closer to that.
I understand. But would 3% suffice? I'm asking because it's sort of hard for me to go outside of the normal spectrum of a county raise.
I understand.
Okay?
We would appreciate
Yeah.
anything you can do to help us.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely, and we thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, the 4%
Mhm.
collection on fines and fees, what is fines and fees from a library?
If someone doesn't return their materials on time, they start accruing fines.
Gotcha.
And that, when they pay that, then that money comes back into our budget. If they don't pay it, it
So
just sort of
everybody
sits
does the
there.
right thing,
Right.
you're coming up short, all right.
Yes.
So, I'm not gonna tell you how to work on your budget, but never estimate that people are gonna do the wrong thing. Work off the positive side of the number. Don't anticipate people getting fined.
Right, right. That
Because
is
we
fair.
hope everybody does the right thing, don't get me wrong.
Yes.
And so Madison County is down 4,000, or is this
Yes, sir.
just a state average?
No, that is for this county.
Okay, all right.
Correct.
Was, our library employees, were they included in the wage survey?
No, because they're not technically Madison County
They belong
employees.
to the regional library system.
That's right.
So these increases are not included in what we are making that payment to Athens Regional, is that what we're saying? Was it? It is in it?
Yes.
So that the 231,828 includes both of these items? Oh, well, yeah.
So we have a budget number submitted, requested at 231,828. Did y'all have that number submitted with the 4% and with the 4,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
That is that number.
So that is the number.
So
So
we've
what's
already-
what's in the budget now is what she's just talked.
What is in the
Well, in the,
amendment column, that is what was submitted.
Okay.
okay.
So the only thing we would need to alter is that 1% to keep it in line with the county employees.
And I do understand your point about that.
Yes, ma'am. The only other thing, and I wished, we don't have the power to control Athens Regional Library System.
Right.
But I will tell you, based off of your 2020 budget and 21 budget, in 22, we give you we give the library system about a $13,000 increase, and now we're here at again about a $10,000 increase.
Yes, sir.
Because in 21 you had a budget of 213 and 21, and then in 22 it was 221, so roughly $13,800. And then we turn around again in 23 and ask for another 10,000. So please be mindful back to the library system as, hey, we're getting large increases with Madison County, and it needs to be spaced a little better than that, okay? Nothing on y'all, I'm talking about, go back to the library system and say we can't, this cash cow is, we've done a lot of restraints this year trying to cut back because of the taxpayers and because of the burden they're hitting. The last thing I need to see is these large increases.
Understood.
So just to confirm, we're doing their salaries at 3%.
Yeah, instead of 4.
But we are adding the 4,000 to help supplement.
Well, that'll be for this board to determine, but for now, work the numbers in, yes.
Okay.
Which is not gonna be drastic, trust me. 1% is not gonna make that much of a difference, but it is something that's fair to the rest of our employees.
And I do understand that. Fairness matters, I do appreciate it.
You use the terminology fines and fees for that 4,000, I understand the fine side, but are the fees punitive as well, or are those fees like if somebody rents whatever y'all rent?
That's, let's think if something just doesn't come back at all for a replacement, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So the 4,000 is to be used for replacement of items. It's not fines and fees, it's simple turnover if someone takes or doesn't return that.
Yes, sir.
It would be more
I
like
believe,
fees.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't recall your name, but you're the director of the regional library.
yes. My name is
in
Margaret
Athens.
Bell.
Is that typical of what your other branches do?
Yes, what they do, what I can say is that, nationwide and in the region, fines and fees, our collecting of fines and fees has gone down every year. People just aren't paying their, fines and fees that are, associated with their library card.
Do they have restricted use then of items if they have outstanding?
Yes, sir. If they hit $10, they can no longer check items out until,
So that's, and you've already got the 4,000 built in, Ms.
The
Thomas.
4,000 was built in, to balance the budget.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
What type of things, aside from books, like
Yes,
what,
sir.
do you actually rent things for money? I mean,
Not for money. We do have a number of other items people can check out. We circulate Chromebooks, we have mobile hotspots, and we have been seeing those circulate more, recently. People need computers and internet access. We have a few musical instruments, where there's a ukulele and a hand drum. There are various kits, for children exploring sound, for, knitting. There's a knitting loom. So various items other than books, yes, sir.
and so they can check those out for, what, 2 weeks or?
Usually those are mostly a week at a time. We also have passes, for museums and parks. And those are very popular as well.
Do you still do Zoo Atlanta?
Yes, we have the Atlanta Zoo DVD. What she's referring to is there's a DVD people check out. When they return it, we give people a pass that they can take to the zoo, and currently it's 3 people the zoo allows in for free, rather than paying the zoo attendants. And they can do that once in the calendar year.
Do you have a problem, like, you say y'all check out Chromebooks and hotspots, do those always get returned, or do you keep something?
Knock on wood, we have not been having a problem with those come back.
Good.
I'm assuming y'all keep a copy of driver's license or something?
We have driver's license information in their account, and they sign an agreement every single time they check out an item like that. It is more cumbersome than just the book checkout.
Yeah, I have and it don't really have anything to do with the budget, but I have an issue with the terminology of fines and fees. I don't think that's a true definition of what it is. If you're balancing a budget, you don't use your revenues to balance the budget. The budget is what it is, the revenues is a plus.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so whoever somewhere back at Athens Regional needs, you don't need to come and say, I need an extra $4,000 to balance my budget because I didn't collect something. That was never on the table to begin with. Collections is only a plus. It's never part of an actual operating dollar. If I looked at Michael Moore, which is illegal, and said, hey, how much are you gonna produce this year so I can make your budget work? I'd be going to jail, and so would he. So
I see.
But anyway, okay, all right, well, thank you, and I
Thank you.
appreciate your time, and thank y'all
Absolutely.
both for coming out, and we'll get these numbers plugged in, and you'll hear about it when it all
Sounds
plays
good.
out with them.
And if there are any other questions that come along, I'm happy to do what I can to help.
I would love to see you offer something, though, on the Chromebook side or something.
Yes, sir.
To generate some money. I know y'all may take donations or something. I don't know if there's a way for it to stay, if you collect $10, does it go back to the library board, or does it stay in the library itself at the county it was dropped off at? I mean, there's gotta be a way to
These
have,
are our budget, right?
yeah, I would love to see more fundraisers
Yes.
done.
The Friends of the Library do have sales. There's an all-year, store within the library, and that money goes to the Friends, which then they feed back directly to support programs and buy materials.
Okay.
They also have bigger twice-annual sales. There is one happening right now. So if anybody would like to pick up some books for a good deal and support the library, that is happening right now till the 17th.
And the reason I say that is when you see, in 2 years, a $17,000 increase, at some point in time, we gotta figure out how to do that increase without coming from taxpayer dollars, through fundraisers and stuff like that, which I appreciate. Madison County is very fortunate to have citizens that give, and they give a lot. Look at our food bank, they do a great job.
Yes, sir.
And I think the same would be receptive at the library, you know, had we do more of that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Does our operating, do we have an operating agreement, does it coincide with our fiscal year, or is it?
We asked for that, and I don't know that ever actually came through last year. Remember we was talking about an operating agreement?
I do remember us talking about an operating agreement, and I thought I said something. Do you want an MOU? Is that what you're looking at?
I think that's what you sent us, was an MOU. Was it on a calendar year or fiscal year?
I believe that Madison County works on a calendar.
We're on calendar.
So we just tried to match the calendar.
Okay.
I knew we talked about it, I just couldn't remember, I've slept since then, so I guess expectations was that the next round of it will come along towards the end of the year, first of the year, that matches the budget.
Y'all can stay and listen to the rest of it, or y'all can go, yeah, well, you were like, no, I'm good. I see you. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, ladies.
Sheriff's Department.
50, 51,
And 52.
51,
The
52?
50 and 51 are gonna be on here, and 50, well, Chip, I think we have it here too. I think we put it all together, yeah.
See, now, we need money because people don't do right.
The right?
I thought we were just cutting the budget, so it's, what I heard before.
We were trimming down, I did hear that.
Trimming down, so.
That's fine, 'cause what we need extra, we just take from Katie's office.
So Katie says, how did I get into that?
Yeah, leave me out for it, Chris.
She's like, I write you checks, what are you talking about?
Yeah, 3 checks.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all can't bully us no more. We got somebody that knows about constitutional officers.
I know.
We don't get played for a fool no more, that's right.
That was my first meeting when I come in, when you came in as chairman. What are you doing to my people?
All right, Michael, I know you, and Jeff, y'all both have went over this, several times with Missy. Is there any particular items on here, that you know of that we need to address before we call it final print?
Honestly, I don't think so. I think we're okay. Most of the price increase is just bottom line inflation, just the cost of goods is so much higher. That's the downfall.
The only thing that I'm a little concerned about, and you know, which I love to brag on how good our, sheriff's department budget is each year, is that right now we're running really low. We're like 1.7 right now, with 4 months to go. So it may turn out you might not need all that, but I will, again, also remind this board that you turned back in $287,000 last year.
We don't spend it, it's not ours.
That's right. And that, when ACCG heard that, it was like, your sheriff did what? And I said, he really gave us that money back. So,
But that's where, as citizens, our county should be very proud that we have departments that are really trying not to spend their budget. Like, they're asking for their things, but they're really trying their hardest cumulatively to be under budget and not go over. And if you look across the board at our departments across the county, everybody tries to come in under their budget.
yeah, there'll be certain items that we can't help.
A huge increase is gonna be the biggest target area was staffing, because we were so short. I mean, that's
So-
a huge volume of that number was the fact that we ran short for so long. I mean, it was tough. We were even getting citizen complaints of, you know, no traffic enforcement here or there. I mean, it was tough. So fortunately, we're doing okay on staffing at the moment with patrol division. We were 5 down at one time for almost 6 months. And that's tough. Of 21 officers, 5 down, boots on the ground, that was hard. So a lot of that number reflects the fact that we were so short. But we're doing a lot better now.
So are we, do we have all the positions filled, or are we
I'm
still?
short. 1 on patrol, 1 SRO, 5 jailers, and 3 dispatchers. Yep. So out of almost 90 employees, we're 10, 12 down.
And the prospects of hiring those, is that looking good or not so good, or?
You know, it's hit and miss with patrol division. It's just, you know, really who wants to be. I've got jailers that I'm ready to send to police academy and fill those boots on the ground, but I've got to fill up that jail before I can do that.
Right.
Because I'm already a shift down. We're 6 per shift, and if I'm 5 down, that's almost an entire shift. So I can't send the 2 that I'm thinking to police academy yet, but they're ready. So it's just yeah.
Is there something I'm missing on the SRO, which will be about the 5th one down?
Had nothing in the budget last year, and then
Yeah, scroll up, and then this year's 178.
So there's money that comes in from the school
There you go.
that pays that salary. So that's where that line item, we just created that line item that's the money that's billed from Tracy, from the school.
So we're showing it in this budget even though it really don't exist.
Correct.
Well,
Okay.
it comes out, like, we write the check for it,
Yes, but it's reimbursed.
but it's reimbursed.
Okay.
You'll see a revenue
Yeah.
that balance out the expenditure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is I didn't want anybody to say, what, are you hiring an extra one and this guy being titled?
No,
Okay.
the money is paid for by the school system.
Because we'll have somebody out in the public that's gonna say, now, wait a minute.
What's that about?
Yeah.
What's it,
The money filters through because they're county employees.
so filling the SRO position, is that something that is in the work I'm trying to understand? Is that position open?
So it's actually a new position that the school is requesting,
Okay,
and they're, paying for. So it's, when we find the right person,
Person,
the
then
sheriff
you
wants to put in the school, that's gonna be an additional asset to what's already there.
and where are they putting this one at?
So additionally, they're wanting 2 in the middle school, 2 in the high school.
Yeah,
So that's,
I can understand it after Friday night's ballgame.
yep.
Now, is body cam storage new? Because we never budgeted before, but then last year we budgeted, but we didn't use any, and then we're budgeting it again.
So the first, if you remember, it's a 5-year agreement. The
Correct.
first year was only 10,000 to help offset the budget because
Yep.
it was mid-year. And this first payment is gonna be 37,000 plus, I think, or somewhere in that ballpark, whatever it is.
Then that's fine.
Yeah.
I just getting clarity on it.
Yeah, that line
We
item.
just haven't paid it yet.
Yeah, well, I think 10,000 is paid, I believe, so they've already invoiced that one, 10,000 and $1 or something like that.
So, something, just so I understand, you got a line item, in here for satellite tracking. It's a zero across. Would that be something like, do we have GPSs in the patrol cars now?
We do but they hooked up to the camera system, to the, computers, that's what they're on.
To be honest,
That satellite tracking was probably back when, I don't even think we have it anymore.
I don't think so.
It was a tracking device that you could put on, like people with Alzheimer's.
yeah.
That was actually brought in, I think, from, one of the clubs, but we had to monitor. So
Okay.
Jimmy at the time was one that was trained, but that thing don't even exist anymore. I mean, it's
Yeah, it doesn't work
outdated.
anymore, so
So that's
kinda-
probably where that satellite tracking's coming from.
That's a line item that's not even used anymore, to be honest.
So while we're on, Michael's topic, there's something that we are working on behind the scenes, and it just hasn't developed yet. And this is, leasing vehicles. We've met twice now, with Enterprise. So they just took over Franklin County, Hart County, Elbert County, and we're running numbers. We've run every vehicle we've got, but primarily trying to stay focused on just the sheriff's office. And right now, we're not gonna know for another few weeks, but potentially the vehicle budget's gonna go down, and then the maintenance cost and then in turn will go down. But it looks like it's gonna save us about close to 70,000 a year, if my math was right, over what we got now, and it's a 3-year turnover period. We get new vehicles. They look at every vehicle we have, they look at the age, the miles, they put a dollar figure on it, they allot us that, potentially talking about picking up 30, what'd you say, the other day, 21, 31?
We're looking at 25 in the initial replacement, straight off the bat. Yeah, she proposed 31, me and Alan are looking at 25.
So, the amount of money that we allot him each year to buy cars with, we're gonna come in 70 grand under that and keep a fleet cars, and then they'll roll them over. It's a lot more complex than that. I'm just giving you the gist of it, because we don't know that we're gonna do this yet. We're just trying to see where it's at. But it's one of the very first things when I walked in office, like, hey, why don't we lease cars? And at the time, there wasn't a good lease program, but now there is.
Yeah, what they're looking at is where we keep cars, over 200,000 miles, more 300,000, then maintenance is already high on. What she was talking about in here was, no, we're gonna roll these things out and give you good money for them and give you more.
Well, they project, they buy 2 million cars a year, so an MSRP of 56,000 costs them 36,000. We can run it a year and a half to 2 years, and they turn around and give us 31,000 back because we don't hardly lose anything, and they give us that money back to go towards the next one. So when we get closer, we'll bring more attention to it in a work session, because she's gonna come and present and she'll show you all the numbers. But one of the things we're running into right now is vehicle cost to maintain. This eliminates that. There also is a program that goes with this to where it's 50, say servicing one of Michael's Tahoe, or anybody's Tahoe over there. Right now, to service that Tahoe costs you a $100 bill. I don't care if we do it or somebody else does it, because the materials are so expensive. Well, they're gonna service it, they're gonna allow us, they'll service it for free, or if we service it at the county because we're a designated service provider, then we can service and they'll pay us to service it, versus taking it to university or PACE or somebody else. So, it's just some numbers that we're running, but hopefully this will also decrease our budget over the long run, plus keep us with better vehicles, because we've got to get rid of the Dodge Chargers, the best we can anyway. All right, any questions for Michael or Jeff? You wanna go to the next budget? Which one you said, 51?
Yes, that's the jail.
Before we leave that one, just remind me,
the SRO, the reimbursement, are they paying a full year's salary or 10 months out of the year? I mean, I'm just.
They pay full year.
Full year.
Okay.
Yep, and we get to use them in the summer when they're not on vacation.
Just like this year alone, we've received $259,000. So it covers their salaries.
Yeah, there's not much. One of the things that really gets me the most with y'all's department, I know it's not your fault, I'm not picking on you. God, uniforms.
Amen.
Uniforms is outrageous.
Yep.
And it's,
Everybody's a different size.
huh?
Everybody's a different size nowadays.
Well, it ain't just that, it's they're one size this month, the next month they're a different size and gotta refit them.
Well, one thing too, the uniforms that we used to buy,
Yeah.
you can wear them. I still got some uniforms back when I was a deputy, when I first started. They don't make them like it anymore. I got some I bought since I've been in office, and they look like crap. They just don't hold up anymore.
It's an ungodly amount.
Oh, yeah.
The jail's not near as bad. It seems like they can. I am concerned about the food expense. Is that enough?
As of right now,
I mean,
hopefully,
I know with the way things are increasing.
yeah.
Um,
That's a contract vendor, so they, before negotiations were there, they actually gave us their increase, so that's what they told us that would service our jail, so
okay.
if they screw up, that's on them.
Is it something like a per diem per prisoner or something?
There's a range, and it's a per diem, yeah.
And it goes on, it runs off your population.
Yeah, daily population average.
All right, so the housing out inmates, I know there for a while we was housing in, and we got it back into housing out again. Is that, we're doing a lot of that, or having to, because of?
To be honest, we have maybe 2 housed out right now today. That's why there's very, very minimal numbers. We kept that line item in the budget just in case something crazy happened and we lost 15 jailers and we had to go beg a sheriff to take them. And that's kind of where we are. But once again, that's money that if it's not spent, you keep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like Franklin County, not too long ago, they had to send us 15 of their people because they had major water leak.
Yeah.
For, that kind of emergency thing, which kind of helped them out, but who say somebody might charge us if we had to do that?
I get it. Any other questions, gentlemen, for Michael and Jeff? Just that simple, I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all making my life simple, and I appreciate the effort you put in, Jeff, along with Missy, and, for the record, it's really, really nice to have a relationship with the sheriff that we have. Boy, y'all remember the old days?
I don't have to argue with y'all, man, what's up?
I know, remember the old days?
Oh, yeah.
Sitting here trying to, had a board of commissioners that was wearing y'all out. Not necessarily y'all, but.
I would have been pretty good, so we've had a lot of help. And then you still got the champs and you.
Well, I can tell you across the state, the relationship our board of commissioners has with not just our sheriff's office, but departments across the board is much better than 90% of the counties in our state.
I'll say the same for our school board as well, honestly, as far as sheriff's office goes. If Michael Williams calls, Michael, and if there's any issues, we work it out. Same with Todd. I mean, we just make it happen.
Can't fuss with Michael, I owe him money. No, I'm just kidding.
I will.
All right, guys, have a good one.
Anything else?
We know where you hide.
Need anything, holler.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
So you
Ready,
got
Bob?
Katie
See you.
next? Todd, you gonna get a Katie next?
Who?
Yeah.
Katie? Yeah, you got court.
35, 36,
35, 36.
and 40, 28, and 40.
What?
Goodness gracious.
How many
Got
she got?
4.
Say those again.
Okay,
I'm gonna write them
yeah, give
down.
me the numbers again, so I know where I'm going.
28,
Mhm.
40, 35, 36.
Which one y'all
So
starting
which one
on?
we going to
28,
first?
go to
28.
28 first, 28.
28 first.
And I keep bragging, telling people how busy you are, now I understand it. You got 4 departments, bro.
I do.
You keep getting better, you'll be as busy as Alan. I remind people, I would not have his job. Not working on Todd, anyway. All right, young lady, 28,
Mhm.
Board of Equalizations.
So, let's see. The only thing that I requested increase on was postage and mailing, just because that's, of course, going up. Office supplies, just because all of that has went up as well. And also for the travel, food and lodging, and education and training, we have 2 new members this year, so they have to do, both of them have to do the 40-hour training, and normally the 40-hour training is not anywhere local, so they will have to travel to do that. That was the only reason for those $500 increases in those 2 places. Also, we still have the older members that do the 8-hour trainings. Sometimes if their schedule doesn't coincide, they will have to go somewhere and stay, but it's only for, one night, and then their food and lodging just for that one particular evening or day while they're down there. But other than that was really the only requests that were made for anything more in that budget.
Right. Appeal Board, I'm gonna cut some money out of that.
Appeal Board,
It says Appeals Board. So in 20, you were budgeted 45, we spent 27, 21 budgeted 45, spent 23, 22 budgeted 45, spent 3 year to date.
that's the second in there, the Appeal Board Secretary. Is that what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking about next to the bottom.
Oh, next to the bottom.
So your appeals board?
Actually, it is the one right below it's office supplies.
Yeah.
So can I cut that back to,
So that Appeals Board, that's based on how many meetings we have. So that's just gonna vary between how many appeals are filed with the, Board of Assessors.
alright, well, I'm gonna go ahead and say we're gonna roll it back some. And the only reason is I'm gonna base off, previous history. And I'd like to take that to, 3,000 instead of 4,500.
Okay.
And then if, worst case scenario, we have to amend the budget.
Yeah.
But at least that gets my number real.
Right, but that's just, like, last year, I don't think there were as many, but this year there've been a lot.
Yeah.
We still probably have 3 weeks of hearings, and we do 21 a day, that we haven't even scheduled yet, that we haven't even gotten from the assessors to schedule. So,
So that number's probably gonna go up.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna get closer to that 4,000.
Alright, move it to 4 then. And this is all hinged, we ain't voted on it yet.
right, no, I was just, going on the explanation of it. Next year, it may be that there's only $1,200 used, but then the next year, there may be $6,500. It just depends on how many appeals are filed with the assessors, and they send to us.
Alright,
It's not gonna be used unless it's used.
Right.
so, item 40, anybody have anything on the Board of Equalizations? No, we'll go to Department 40.
That's juvenile.
So, juvenile bailiff, you look at your budgets and actuals. I guess you're going high just because of the unknown.
Yes, just
Yeah.
because we never know how that's gonna kinda play into the caseload.
The highest number we've ever spent was $5,000 though, or at least since 2020.
For the bailiff,
The very top line. Yeah, see, we budgeted 86, we spent 17, 86 spent 5, 86 spent 25.
Right.
So do you think 5,000 is a better number?
That probably would be
All right.
for this, and, you know, it's one of those things you can't really guarantee
I
that
get
it's
it.
gonna be
Yeah.
in that or not, just depending on too, like if he has a big hearing that needs more than one, like, just
It's
depending
easier
on
for me
what-
to amend it in the
Yeah.
end and true it up in the front.
You said just that down to 5?
Yes. All right, coming on down.
How's the juvenile judge salary done? I noticed,
It is split up through all 5 counties. Every county pays a supplement for Judge Caswell, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And
So
so that-
that contract's kind of worked out between
It
y'all,
is.
Yeah.
not,
So with,
so that year-to-date number is how much we're gonna be for the year, or is that just like we got so much that adds to it each month, or what?
Well, that 100,000 is set as part of his contract, and
Right.
it's split.
and then we get reimbursed that 100,000
We
back
get
from the state.
reimbursed out of
Right.
it, the state does it. So it's one of those that kind of goes in, like comes out of our money and then comes right back in.
So that 66,667 it shows year-to-date, that's just an accrual?
That's it.
That's it? Okay. I just trying to understand.
The 100,000 is a total amount
Mhm.
that the state deemed for all 5 counties. And I'm sure for us, we could actually break that down in a percentage if we wanted to, and just say, okay, we're gonna give 23,000 of ours and just show it going in and out, but I really don't know. It might be a good idea to do it that way.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Hinton, I had the opportunity, he spoke at Rotary the other day, and, he talked about, a position of some sort, and forgive me if I don't know the name of it, but, that he was hoping, we'll just say it's administrative staff of some sort to help.
Judge Caswell
Yeah.
was. So that would kind of, so if he appoints somebody to be his judicial administrative assistant, that would kind of alleviate a lot of the burden off of us. I don't know, because I haven't ever had any dealings with it, and I haven't read into the different code sections and things like that, but I'm under the impression that if that were to happen, that's not something that would come out of the county's budget, that would come out of Judge Caswell's pocket. If he
It comes out of the state budget, so
Yeah.
it gets allocated to a judicial administrator.
Right, and then he would be like reimbursed kind of for like how y'all are for his supplement.
So like, the county, each of the 5 counties puts into this pot of money that his salary is paid out of. Well, out of that would be where money would come in from the state to pay. So it would be kind of like what we do, like we put it in and it gets washed out by the state. It would come out of that kitty of that money, and the state would just supplement for it. But it's really state money that would pay for that, not county funds.
But if I understood his speech the other day, there are 2 things that stood out. One is the time constraints that are placed on him from the time there is a incident or whatever brings it before him, and they have to put in place some corrective actions or whatever.
So when we get, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No.
when we get something, the juvenile complaint, it has to, depending on if it's DJJ or DFAX or kind of what their complaint is for, whether it be dependency or truancy or a criminal charge. You have to put it on a calendar for him with between 7 to 10, so no less than 7, no greater than 10 days. So it might be that it can't be heard here, it might be happen to be heard in another county. So I could see where he might think that, or that would be beneficial to him, because they would have his complete schedules for all 5 counties, which we currently do now. He sends that out. And I think Madison County also gets majority of the brunt of his court day hearings,
Well,
because
the reason for that, if I understood it correctly, and I made some notes the other day, is, if you look at population and percentage, we're in the top 10 in the
Right.
state requiring his services, which lumps us in with Atlanta, Columbus, Albany, Savannah, Macon, and all like that. So, I mean, it's not something we can be particularly proud of.
Well, a lot of that's not ours though.
A lot of the cases that are heard here are other counties,
Yes,
but that's because they don't have the capacity as well to have more than one courtroom going like we have the capacity to do here. Because if we have just one superior court, then he could be in the smaller probate courtroom. And there have been times where we've had both of those courtrooms and he's had to be in here. But I don't necessarily know any other, like you talked to him about down there.
that was where I was going with this. Would it behoove us to revisit that space that we've got down there?
No.
If he's seeing that, then he can't
I'll
do
tell
it.
you why. So, actually, myself and Katie both has, signed a letter asking for help, but it wasn't for Caswell, it was
For Superior.
Superior Court. But I did do one for Caswell also, so he could submit it to the state, showing a need. So we have
additional.
requested a need to get him some
For
help.
him particularly.
For him particular, and Judge Malcolm. The courtroom spacing, Malcolm wants no part of that building for courtroom.
Right, he wants
Not across
everything.
the security.
No,
He
he wants
wants-
this building. He wants us to move out and they take this
He
building.
wants everything to be here because it's already under the secure, like no windows. We have the secure doors, access points, and security's main base is here. Whereas if we had two courtrooms here and one there going, they would have to have an additional 2 to 3 officers, one kind of in both points of the courtroom, and then one that just strictly follows the judge. And that would just be more more spent also, and I think that's just kind of where he was thinking, if the main security is here, then Scott would also be here to kind of control and have eyes and ears kind of here on the ground.
Because if you make that a courtroom over there, you're gonna have to create a secured gated lot over there. You're gonna have to build out all the security features for it. And then on top of that, when you've got election day and elections going on, then you have already breached all your security for court to be over there.
Well, it wasn't the intent originally. It was gonna be simplified, but they didn't wanna hear it. But, the main thing is, if Judge Caswell sees, I'm gonna just use a round number, if he sees 1,000 kids, 450 of them is not from this county. He chooses to bring those here instead of going to their primary location. So we already go above and beyond financially for Caswell to begin with.
And I've tried to intercept a lot of the invoices that come through and tried, like McGalley, I've gotten to where she just gives them to me directly, and I can kind of distribute them to the appropriate counties that they go to. Now, as far as the security bailiff, that just comes out of here. But, I mean,
So we build back as much as we can.
the only thing is, if we were to bill Hart County, because we heard all of Hart County's cases here one day, and then they heard one of ours, just
They would
because
bill
it's an emergency case, they might bill us just for the whole entire day, whereas it might have been a 5-10 minute hearing just to get like a temporary order in place. That's kind of the only thing. It just becomes we pay
Just
this.
kind of,
and
we
pay
swapping back
Right.
and forth.
And the other thing I'll add to your Rotary conversation was, he has already been to every county before he came to Rotary, and I think 4 out of the 5 counties will not assist.
for a judicial assistant.
That's correct, because he sat down with me and I said, what do I need to do to help you? And he said, I can't get no help from the other counties, you're the only guy. And I'm like, I can't do
Right.
the whole deal. So, that's
And
just
He
another.
needs to petition the council of juvenile judges, because they're the ones who can get that assist.
Correct.
Because they're the ones who petition judicial council to approve for that. And that's where state funds, when they get allocated state funds for the judiciary pot, judicial council is going to distribute that out to all the different classes of courts. And they-
All right, so So nothing else in here in this budget really sticks out in my mind, except for we didn't put enough money in the juvenile court judge for the interpreter. We didn't put anything.
Right, and that was because I think prior year we didn't really use that, and when I discussed the last year's budget with Kathy, I think she was kind of just, if we need to amend it, we'll amend it. If we're not gonna because we didn't really use anything.
Well, it looks like this year we're at $1,034.
Yes,
So do I need to put something out there?
There's more coming.
There's more coming.
I know.
And then also too, this wasn't an issue when me and Missy and I sat and looked at the budget, the court reporter services. So Jim has retired, so now they are using a service for each court reporting session, and I'm sure y'all received the bills for those. I don't know if, I'm sure their rates are probably substantially more higher than Jim's were. But I haven't seen those invoices. I think they're sending them directly to y'all. That would be the only other thing. So every other, he doesn't have a set court reporter, and he hasn't found one yet. So that would be the only other thing that might need to be allocated a little more money to, or either just kind of leave that open if the need arises.
So Missy, let's go back up 3 lines to interpreter and put 1,500 out there until we can see a little further. And then just leave that 10,000 until we can verify maybe a bill or two to see if there's gonna be a pattern, with the court reporter services.
Yes, I'll get those pulled and we'll get those.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, that juvenile court budget is really not that bad from previous years. All right, number 35, right?
No, I mean, going back to the
I'm sorry.
assistant, I mean, he mentioned, there wasn't expectations that we would pick up the total tax. He
Right.
explained how it would be like divided by different counties and stuff. It just was fresh on my mind, so I was just curious.
No, and that's just one of those things, you know, you just kind of, you like to talk about it, you like to hope for it, but you can't really say this is gonna happen until, because it's so many different people in the mix that have to say yes or no and agree upon everything.
The bottom line's gonna be blessed at the state judiciary level, I guess is what I'm,
Right.
because they're the ones that tells you how many judges you get and this
Right.
and all that. Okay. Thank you, man.
All right, on your Superior Court, I'm looking at, you know, we're going back to 2020 again. We budgeted $299, come in at $248, $295, come in at $255, $337, currently at $234, requested $340.
From 35?
Yeah. Superior Court,
Okay.
you follow me?
I
At the
gotcha.
bottom line?
Okay, yeah, I thought you were talking about like specific, sorry.
No, I'm just going from 2020 budget now versus
Okay.
budget versus actual,
If you
so.
look on the, will you highlight the line, like, for the bottom numbers on 35?
There you go.
Gotcha, okay, so I was trying to, I got it.
So we know the wages.
Mhm.
What else is gonna stick out here?
The only thing this year that may be a little off is bailiffs. That's because each judge they've added 6 additional trial weeks to this year, criminal trial weeks. It may fluctuate a little bit with that, be a little more for the bailiffs and courtroom security. Just also because I don't know the officers that sign up, I don't know what their salary is in order to base it off of to predict the budget, just because it may be somebody who makes $13 an hour one day, and then the next day it may be somebody that makes $21 an hour. So I can't really
Gotcha.
predict
But this
what
is
that
a
might be.
catch-up from the Corbin
Yes.
years, correct?
It is. It's a catch-up. All of the cases from 2019 to 2021, just all serious felonies and misdemeanors that we're trying to dispose of.
And then so that's the reason that well, there's 2 different things. I mean, one being the interpreter again,
Yes.
is running so high, but the jury script.
And so for the jury script, the bailiff courtroom security, senior judges, some court reporter services depending on the case and if it has to be, somebody who fills in for a senior judge. That will all fall under the ARPA reimbursement also. So all of those, and I'm submitting those monthly to ARPA to have that submitted back to y'all if it falls under that,
Just
that
so,
line item.
just so the board understands that you have a window of line items in here that we get refunded. And does 381 fall under that? Which is the court reporter services, because I'm looking at that massive jump on that one. I don't know if that's a miscue or.
So what I have here for court reporter services is 18. And,
But we're at $765.
But I think it's because there's a salary.
I think,
But I'm just saying, are they ARPA reimbursed?
yes,
Then
they
I don't need to
should
worry
be.
about it.
Mhm.
Okay, don't worry about it. Only ones I'm worried about is supposed to come out of taxpayer dollars, not ARPA dollars.
So when y'all receive those invoices, if you wanna shoot them down to me, I can, look up those case numbers that were heard in court that day, because ARPA's gonna want that information in order to reimburse, to see which cases those were
I
heard.
don't think we have gotten any court reporter invoices lately, because usually Kelly takes and puts them straight in your dollars.
I think the only thing that we've received is for the juvenile.
Yeah,
Kelly,
we
the
haven't
juvenile.
received any.
So what do you use under small equipment, not cap? Normally laptop, something?
Yes, or if we need something, just like a copier, like if something tears up or
That's
breaks.
not under IT?
Not that I,
Not a copier.
Okay.
just like a small desktop or.
Or like one of their desktop scanners,
Mhm.
like whenever they're doing passports, things like that, that would be usually under their small equipment.
All right.
What is a
And
jury script?
it's the funds that we pay the jurors, the grand jury and the traverse jury. So in Madison County, we are topped out. The traverse gets $60 per day, and the grand gets 60 per day, and traverse gets $50 per day. So it gets to be a pretty big expenditure, but then again, we try to not spend it if we don't have to. We try to, where we have been having plea days, like the Friday before a trial, to make sure going into it if we need them to come in or not, because regardless, if we tell them to be here at 9 and then everybody gets here and all the cases get worked out, we still have to pay 150 jurors.
But isn't that at the judge's discretion also? If he can dictate to you how many panels he wants on this one case for backup. So literally, he could say, somebody stole a pair of shoes, but I want 3 sets of backups for panels. You got 36 people that comes in to pick 12. Because I have seen days down there, I'm like, why is so many people here for jury duty? It's like, well, the judge requested X number minimum. I'm like, wow. Because I'm just thinking in my head how much math that just cost us.
And so normally, if that is the case and there is a case that's going to go, and if there's more than one, what they'll do is they'll try to do all of the paneling, all of the voir dire that first day, if there's more than one case, to pick those 12 or 24, however many they're going to need for the week, so that they don't have to continue to pay all of them to come back in for another day of questioning and that kind of thing. So it kind of helps, but it's just, there's a lot of people that come in and can't do it, but we try to take care of all that before. And we try, if we know we're not going to need them, we try to just call it off or push it back a day to make sure we have time to go over everything and only spend the money that we need to spend at the time.
Gotcha.
That's good.
Any other questions on Superior Court? If not, we'll move to Clerk of Court. Clerk of Superior Court. I don't see anything that really sticks out in this one.
I mean, that's really the only thing. We went up office supplies just because of the inflation, the postage. Let's see.
And you're changing software?
Yes, and we are, there is a line item, I talked to Missy about it, I can't remember exactly which, I think it was 50,
For software?
yeah, the 57. We aren't currently using that funding because we're in the process of about to switch over to a web-based jury system. So when that is finalized and that goes live, that funding will then come out of that line item. We're no longer with COT.
So can I cut that number something from now just to true up my budget?
What do you mean?
No, because we're fixing to spend it.
Right, that's what I was saying.
She's gonna be spending it.
Even though there's nothing been taken
Gotcha.
from it as of this point in time,
Gotcha.
it will be used.
All right.
That's how we held it. We kept it because we know it. It hasn't been spent, but we know it's coming.
Okay.
Because of the discontinuation of cost.
All right.
Missy, the salary adjustments,
I did not, change anything because I knew the wage studies, I didn't add or anything myself to any of the salaries. I know that they'll have a 5,000 for my salary that was talked about in legislation, and then for the regular salary wages, I didn't.
Well, that might be wrong then, because I'm showing 4,000 on hers. It's supposed to be 5. Ain't that supposed to be
No,
84,598?
Technically, it should be that. It should technically be 78. It's what I'm supposed to go back and double check.
Okay.
Because I think there was discrepancy going on.
Oh, wait a minute, yeah, wait, that's not right. It's supposed to be 78,059.
Okay. Well, I think that half of it comes from the appeals administrator from, BOE, and so that's just kind of everything put together.
Okay.
I-
But I don't think
I'll
we're
make sure
supposed
it's
to
not
look.
double dipping.
Right, that's
I'll
why I
make
said,
sure
I
that,
didn't assess it on
Yeah,
this, this one. I think I just put everything, including that BOE supplement,
Right.
all here instead of
Yeah, 'cause
doing it that way.
Yeah, I'll go back and double check
Yeah.
that number.
For some reason, I'm thinking it's 78,059, but I might be wrong.
Okay.
But either way,
what's the right number for 392? Because if she didn't add anything except for the wage study on, it goes from 214 to 272, and then we backed it down to 256.
I think it's because whenever she put that number in, it was part of the BOE. That's where we pulled it out. Because it was counting BOE under the Board of Equalization and.
So it's double dipping and
it was
we
double,
fixed it.
and we fixed it.
Okay.
That was my mistake, just.
No,
On
No,
which
the,
but I mean,
the
that's-
true number is
yeah.
probably gonna be 256, not 272 though.
Correct.
Right.
256
So it's
under the amendment.
this way,
code.
not this way.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
it's just a big jump, that's what I,
But that's where it was both ways.
it's just in a different
So we-
spot now. Gotcha.
Trying to put things in the right department.
Yep.
yes, that's my bad.
All right.
Yep, you're good.
Any other questions for Katie? Katie, I appreciate it, you know I do.
Absolutely, I try to make it as painless as possible on y'all.
Thank you, Katie.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks, Katie. 87.
I would not have that job either. Mm-mm.
You said 87?
Uh-huh.
All right, Shelley, we finally got to you. What'd you say, 87? I heard somebody say something.
87.
He brought you on with it? All right, gentlemen, I want to tell you up front, this one's still a work in progress. Main thing is you're not seeing it here. It's gonna some of the changes are gonna be over in the capital outlay stuff we're having to look at. But we did make adjustments right up to 312. I think I left you with 9 or 10 question marks at 312, so you're still not even gonna have it, Shelley, because we ran so close about the time the power went out.
Yeah, that was great.
While you were typing.
In the midst of typing it. Where do you want to start? Because I've made some changes that y'all don't even have.
Correct. So why don't you tell us what you have line by line, just get you something to follow down?
So,
I mean, we understand number,
Yeah,
or
we'll go back up.
1074, we
Can you
understand.
go back up all the way?
You know,
There
you
we
got
go.
1074.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
1048, right?
Yeah. So I have, and again, like, basically that, the, department salary, that's just, it's the same thing, mine just says 494, but that's just because of the math, but it's what's on there. Assistant director, that pay didn't change, it's the 45,760. So under, the office staff, I have 176,800. Under the, maintenance staff, which is grounds and maintenance, I have 154,419.20.
How did we leave that completely off?
I don't know, it was what I submitted, so I think everything was all together under the one
All right, 154,
originally.
what did you say, 154?
154,419.20, and I also have that broken down into
That's fine.
specifics. Part-time is 33,904, just the regular part-time. We don't have a part-time 75% anymore. That position is, he's moved into full-time, so we don't have that anymore.
All right, when you move that line item, we can strike that line item
Yes.
from the 150, okay, so we just leave the 154 and strike the 20 altogether.
Yes.
All right. Now, on your 176 at the top, on your regular office staff, that's going to be,
That
Holly,
office staff is Holly, Brian, and then athletic coordinators.
which we haven't filled
Right.
yet. Okay. And you have Angela's figured in that, just,
No,
is it in here at all?
Mhm.
Okay.
because currently my understanding is Angela's getting paid out of our assistant director line item.
Okay.
So yeah, so part-time I have 33,904. That line item would include, is our administrative assistant, because she gets guaranteed number of hours each week, and then it also would include a part-time special event coordinator, which could be like an intern, for that.
All right, so Shane on here though, Shane is a part-time employee.
Shane is under part-time seasonal.
I know, but he's not seasonal. He's part-time,
He's
Period.
seasonal according to Tracy.
yeah, I don't think so.
So I have him in a part-time seasonal line item budget.
Yeah, I'm almost positive he's part-time, year-round, I think, but I'll double check it.
Okay. Because he's, yeah, anyway. Because, so I've included Shane in my part-time seasonal at 110,000.
What?
So I took numbers, because originally it was the $200,000 and over $200,000 number. I took that's based on having 10 hours per week for every staff that we have. So that's what that 256, that number was.
What line item you on?
Part-time seasonal.
Yeah, well, I don't.
That 61, that's incorrect. That's this year's budget.
I'm showing in 2020, 46,000, 2021, 46,000, 2022, 61,000. Where you get 100 and something?
Because that, I submitted, my budget that I submitted was 256.
For part-time?
Mm-hmm. Based off the new numbers that you gave me.
Who did you submit that to? So it doesn't match any number I've got on what you submitted to.
That's what we talked about last week. Because Tracy gave you the 61 and you said you were gonna talk to her, because that's what our budget was this week.
All right, I'm just putting a question mark by it for now.
I think we need to set wages aside right now.
We just don't even need to talk about wages for
I think
now.
that's the best way to do it, is just set wages.
All right, let's
aside
just
right
go on down.
So, overtime still at 1,000.
Keep on
I couldn't do any of the other, and then security monitoring at 800 because they've made upgrades to the system, so that's gonna go up. Repair and maintenance of office equipment, stays at 200. Repair and maintenance of large equipment drops to 1,000. The office equipment for the maintenance is 350. Repair and maintenance of small equipment dropped to 1,000.
You said on large equipment?
Yeah.
Okay, I have two. Okay, one. Because we can catch up some of that under the capital outlay on the non-repair. on the
Right,
purchase.
that's-
Yeah, that's why you done that, okay.
So small equipment at 1,000, 200 for rental for small equipment. Cellular, so this number is, it's 2,300.
The 5 iPads,
Yeah,
the 2509, 80 per year. What is
right,
that?
that's the new number, because the number that I came up with was 2279.40.
And I thought we talked about this earlier, that should be reimbursed in that grant.
Yes, we need to make sure we apply for the boost grant to cover that.
So the boost grant will cover that, but it only covers the summer use. It won't
Right.
cover the rest of the year.
I don't need 5 iPads floating around.
No, we have 3, we'll use 5 during the summer, but 3 of those will not be in use the rest of the year. We have maintenance has 1, and then we'll have 1 in the office for, attendance at programs,
Why do we have these?
to make check-in attendance easier, so
Check-in
it all
attendance, I
goes,
get.
all goes into rec desk.
Okay.
So it keeps up with who attended, what they signed up for, like in terms of our programs, dance, pound, yoga, if we bring yoga back, any of those programs. And then whoever's supervising that will have that to go in and check in
Okay.
when people come in.
Okay,
So,
so you just.
It's connected to your database?
yeah,
Okay.
it's connected to rec desk.
So there is the potential for these 5 iPads to be used year-round, not just 3, but all 5, because if we're going to yoga and pounds and everything to use those.
That'd be year round.
Well, they're only
year-round.
1 day a week, so.
But
Yeah.
that's still a year-round usage.
I mean,
Right,
yeah.
there's, the 3 are not year-round, 2 are.
All right.
Because, I guess I'm confused at what you're saying, because we only have, like, our
You
classes,
said 3 year-round, who were they assigned to?
no, 2 year-round.
2 are year-round, who are they assigned to?
Maintenance in the office.
Okay.
What does maintenance in the office need an iPad for? Don't y'all got computers?
But the one in the office is for programs. To be
Okay.
used.
What would maintenance
So,
need an iPad?
Maintenance has one so that if they're out on any of their other areas, they can look up when
So
we
it
have
runs off
practice.
cellular data?
Yeah.
All right.
other-
We'll have to figure them bills out, but okay, no
The
problem.
other 3 during the summer for day camp will be.
I get that part, yeah. All right, we'll worry about the bills. We'll put it up there in the category of, salaries. All right, come on down.
So our software, $5,000, that's for our rec desk, which is the software we use for everything, registrations, facility rentals, scheduling, check-ins, all of that. Our website domain fee is gonna be coming up due, for that, which is our Madco rec. And then we have our When I Work software, which is our part-time scheduling software. That is $576 a year. And that is based upon the number of staff that we have. So if we go over what we have currently right now, then it adds a couple dollars for every additional person that we employ, if we reach that maximum. That's not archived, if that makes sense. Postage, $250. We're doing a lot of mailing of official checks because they're coming from other areas outside. Advertising, I dropped that to $2,000. We probably could stay at $1,000, but I'm just trying to factor in, we have a lot of job openings and everything, and so the advertising of that gets costly.
I went to 15.
Okay.
Tournament hotel expense staff.
Travel, so this is at $2,000. Tournament hotel expenses for staff, that is, anytime our teams, all-star teams go to state, we have to send a full-time staff member, so that pays for their hotel. It also covers GRPA conference. It is very low for next year because GRPA is in Athens, so we don't actually have hotel expenses or anything like that.
I took it to 1,000 because I'm figuring that's $200 a night for 5 nights, surely.
It depends on where depends on where those tournaments are. So all the tournaments located all across the state. So one age group may be in, like this year, one age group was in Lions, but for softball, but then we just happened to be hosting our 10U, which was here. So volleyball last year, we had one age group in Catoosa County, and then our 14U was down in Bryan County. So it's not necessarily one location, it's all over the entire state.
So go to 15 on that one then. Hey, buddy.
So personal vehicle mileage left at $200, athletic fees, $5,000.
87, sir.
That covers our entry fees into the all-star tournaments for district and state, if our teams make it to state, which we have had good luck with that here recently. Dues, I actually moved it up to $1,100. It covers our GRPA state and district membership dues, and then also our newspaper membership. Education and training, $2,500. That didn't change. We do sometimes go over this, but we do apply for scholarships for reimbursement.
Well, now, I did cut it because I went back to previous years and it wasn't that. Like I looked at 2020, we spent $970. 2021 went to $1,400, but then we're at $950 right now, and I didn't know if y'all had any more training for the year.
For the year, yeah, we have GRPA conference coming up, but for next year, we also have the CPSI course, which is $600, that we have to have a staff.
All right, so leave the 2,500 in it then, right?
And then coach certifications at $1,500.
All right, so that's something new. We've never had a dollar on that.
Yeah, it's something new. So we had it approved last year for $1,500, and we weren't able to work it out with like Darkness to Light because of COVID and everything, and them coming, and then getting coaches to actually show up and commit to it. So we are working. Darkness to Light has given us the opportunity, like we can prepay for a certain amount of coaches for their certification, and they can do it online when they sign up to coach. So that we're hoping to roll out with January.
Okay.
Contract labor, I actually dropped it to $8,000. Contract labor is basically when we bring money from our programs, that a percentage goes back to the coaches. So this is just from previous years. Kathy said that number could not exist, but we are bringing revenue in, so, and then it's coming. So.
Which one are you, she said?
Contract labor.
Okay,
She said
yeah.
it didn't matter if we went over that number, because as long as we're bringing in that revenue
That's
from that
correct.
program. So, but I just dropped it to 8,000.
So that's revenue neutral then?
Yes. Athletic officials, I dropped to $34,000. This is based off of how much we've spent up until currently, with having to pay, umpires more right now, but we haven't even gotten to the basketball season, and we're just now starting fall season, so we really haven't even taken into account, of paying that. So I looked at what we had last year for those numbers, and that's how I came up with the 34. So I dropped it down from 46. Solid waste, I actually dropped it to 1,500 based upon where we're at for the year in terms of that. That goes through the city. Unfortunately, we can't bid out for anything else because we have to go through the city.
Why?
The last time we tried to go with someone different than Waste Pro, they said because we have city water, we have to go with their
That's
trash.
not a true statement. I'll tell you now. The only time you're required to use city, trash is if you're inside the city limits, not if you're hooked to a water line. Because that would be the same, I'm telling you, that's what it is.
Well,
So,
so
like the
that's
water line
something that could be totally
and,
different.
yeah, water at the at the dump,
Mhm.
they use contract service.
Okay, because that was Grady tried to do that and go with a different company, and the city was like, no, you have to.
Well, you are inside their service delivery plan,
Mhm.
the rec department is, but the service delivery is different from a franchise trash service. I mean, you
Okay.
gotta use their sewer and water, but you don't
Right.
have to use the trash service.
Got it.
So if you choose to look at that, go right ahead.
Okay.
Well, on a broader spectrum though, or do we need to monetize, that's not the right way to say that. Do we need to collectively figure out where all we're having waste service done and see if we can do that organizationally and bid it out and get, instead of each department?
I mean, to me, your waste services ought to be nothing more than once a week, the guys go around, or once every couple of days, or every single morning after ball practice, they pull the cans and chunk them in the pen, or in the trailer, and then carry them over once a week. Or just like the courthouse services, we have a trailer that's enclosed, netted, I'm sorry, and then they just come out, hook to it, and take it and dump it for us. I mean, we need to look about doing that in-house. We'll talk about that later. Same as this courthouse. Just talk to Alan and say, we want the same service you got here.
Yeah, but y'all deal with food, so,
Yeah.
I'm not
So,
saying
because
you
we do
can't look
have,
at
we
it,
do
I'm
have
just
a
saying.
trailer a dump trailer that we do fill up with, like,
It would be better to
Other
get a
things,
dumpster
but.
and just set a dumpster maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
So recreation, or repair and maintenance of recreation buildings and grounds, so I'm actually taking out the grounds, because it just needs to be retitled, but, I've dropped that to $12,000 due to moving things to, other areas. Recreation grounds, is at $30,000 because we are having True Green come out and do all of our pesticide spraying and, fertilizing and everything like that. We went to True Green because it was just really hard for us, to get all the products that we needed. And then also time consuming on staff of having to do that in addition to everything else. So, other structures, I've dropped that to $10,000. Office supplies, left at $1,800. Janitorial supplies at $8,000. I'm open to dropping that if we can figure out how to keep people from clogging toilets with toilet paper. So, or just coming in and carrying it all out. Athletic equipment, actually, I left it at $20,000. Balls, those type things, it's just super expensive.
Well, yeah, and I
so-
questioned that one today, because we had just spent 25 this year on equipment, and based off of the previous years, 2020, 2021, and 2022, we didn't spend nowhere near that, and because we purchased so much in 2022, I just couldn't imagine spending 20 in 2023 also, unless you're trying to rebound.
So baseball, softballs are only good for
Well, the balls themselves, but you can't buy $20,000
Yeah.
baseballs.
So, well, that, also includes like the tees that they use, the actual equipment, catching gear, helmet.
So what did we do in
All of
2020
that.
and 2021? Because we must have went without, because we only spent $5,500.
We're having to replace things now.
Okay, so they were new then, replace them now.
Yeah, we ordered, like this year, we ordered a few new catching equipment is what we could get in stock, so we have those. But as far as like tees are good for one season, we have to replace those every year, just because of the way that they go, and then balls. So, I mean, balls are $45 a dozen, so.
All right,
Well, we can
we're
drop it down,
gonna talk
but-
about that one. I'm gonna put a question mark.
Okay.
I
I
gotta
think
figure out
across the board on things like that, we're gonna have to go back and really get some new quotes. But I mean, that's gonna be across the board, no matter the department, we're gonna have to look at a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather order 2,000 baseballs and get a discount than I would be order 2 cases per year that I pay premium price on, but we'll look at that.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out somehow.
Figure out a
We'll
way
sit
to
down.
save money.
Because the $45 is at a discount.
At $45 a dozen, that's ridiculous.
That's a discounted rate.
Huh?
That's the discounted rate.
Yeah, for 5-year-old T-ball, that don't make no sense. I'd use last year's.
T-balls are a different story. T-balls are like $20 a dozen, but baseballs
Okay.
themselves, and softballs are different.
What-
Athletic field supplies, dropped that to $10,000. That's fencing, mounds are $3,000 or $4,000 a piece, depending on which one, we get, when we have to replace those. And then bases themselves are $150, $200 a piece, so. Water and sewer, based on our current pricing, and what I had determined of, what we spent last year, and kind of the direction we were going, I dropped that to 25. Again, some of these numbers are based off of 3 months ago looking at things, so.
Now, does this include the splash pad?
Yeah, the splash pad, all that comes out of that line item.
All right. 2 things on that. One, I am gonna need you to contact the IDBA about the soccer fields, because I'm being told that the contract said when we hook to it, that water would be free. If it's not, because that was under the impression you were under, right?
Well, that's what.
Because they wanna keep the line fresh?
Yeah, that's what Brian told me when they first initially did that back in 2013. So.
But if not, we need to tie to the well. We need to be irrigating off the well if not, because we can't be purchasing water our good drinking water to be irrigating the field when I have a well sitting there. So I wanna look at the cost of either tying it to the well, or honestly, we just don't need to be wasting it, so. And you got a leak under the parking lot anyway, so if we gotta reroute to get to the well, it'd be a better time to do it now, but that's gonna save you a ton of money, because irrigating those soccer fields is expensive. And on the cities.
Especially when it doesn't rain.
Yeah, and I noticed the splash pad bills run about $1,800 to $2,000 a month. We're gonna talk about that later, huh?
Yeah, while they're in season.
Yeah, we're during the season,
Right.
yeah. We've
And then we
gotta
turn-
figure out
we turn
something to do
everything
different
off.
there too. I don't know what yet, but,
Yeah.
all right, thanks.
Natural bottled gas, again, I bumped it up to 8,000 just based upon as of right now, we're about $1,000 more than what we spent last year, so. Electricity left it at 53, inventory for resale at 30, everything has gone up, so that's where we are. Small tools left at 400, small equipment not capital, 1,200. Uniforms used to be at 800, bumped it to 15. That uniform line item is for staff shirts, apparel, polos, jackets. During the winter time, all we give our staff is a long sleeve shirt. Well, what if they're outside, you know, or anything like that? Then they wear a jacket. They don't know that they're staffed. So, adding that in there.
What sports do you have going on that you would need a jacket in the wintertime outside?
We have reindeer run, we have soccer that's still going on, in early December.
Just be careful, 'cause when we start getting over into jackets, then I'm gonna get road department screaming saying, hey, I want jackets too.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like a hoodie or, you know, something
Yeah.
on a, yeah, not like super duper fancy or anything like that, so. Program supplies, that's something that we did talk about this morning. I went back and looked, I actually put it at 4,000. This is to accommodate right now all of our 101 programs, our contract labor programs that include shirts, like our goalkeeper clinics, any of the camps during the summer. All of those shirts that come with that are now currently being taken out of our athletic uniform budget, so I'm trying to put them in the program supply budget. So that would be for just general supplies that any of our programs may need, and then those shirts, so it would be, I have at 4,000. That number, again, those shirts and stuff are covered by the fees that we take in for those programs. Because those fees, that cost comes out before we actually pay the instructor, so. Special events, I have at $7,000. This is for Reindeer Run, Daddy Daughter, Egg Hunt. Right now, we are about $2,000 for that, but we have not had our Toss for Tots or our Reindeer Run. So we spend money, but we are bringing money back in for that. Our Reindeer Run last year, we spent $3,936.15, but we made $2,000 from that. So, and then our Toss for Tots, that one is a little different because it is a scholarship fundraiser. So we do spend money.
And you have how much down for yours? I've got 4 on mine.
For special events.
Under special events, I've got 4,000.
That's this year's budget. I have 7,000 is what I requested.
I have 4,000 on the original.
So,
I have 7,000 under day camp.
yeah, I have 7,000 on day camp, but I have 7,000 under special events. That's fine, you can leave it at 4. Day camp at 7. We do get the boost grant for the next 2 years at 13,000 each year. So that gives us a total of $20,000 to spend on day camp. This year we had 45 participants who came throughout the entire summer, and then we had 35 on the wait list. And that's 30 kids per week, so 45, they came multiple weeks. And then 35 on the wait list because we don't have a facility to put them in. Athletic uniforms, you'll see it went from 64 to 100,000. This is based upon inflation of the cost of products, also based upon the number of participants for potential for next year.
I want to skip this one until we can get a total head count of what we think, of what we had this particular year, what we're going to finish out the year with, and then we'll times it by the jerseys, do the offset cost of what the parents do, and then we'll come up with a true number on that. We'll do that towards the end, because right now we're just throwing it at the wall guessing.
That's all I have for the budget itself. Capital outlay, so we have, this year we were approved for $40,000 for a reel mower. However, the cost of a reel mower has gone up. Instead of, originally we wanted to request $55,000 for next year for a reel mower.
Where's your capital outlay up there?
That's fine, but.
It's not up there? Okay. All right, 'cause we're not seeing it.
Originally, I wanted to request 55, and then I had some priorities based upon, new lawnmowers, gators, bunker rake, those type things. However, in the last week, we've had a bunch of issues with our lawnmowers. So, instead, we have gotten a price quote from John Deere to cover, which would cover us buying a new commercial, diesel lawnmower, and then just a regular Z-Track, and then also a brand new gator. This would be $38,000. It would be under our $40,000 for this year's budget. So I would be removing the request for next year, for those items on that. Then that's for cameras. So I do have, some estimated camera quotes for how much it would be for like cameras at Diamond Hill, more at Mize, and then we have 0 cameras at the old Davisville gym. So that is also in my capital outlay, of roughly, $26,500. Those are not completely accurate because Jacob couldn't give me a full quote, due to his vendor not being able to get certain things and the cost of everything fluctuating. So those numbers are actually based off his last quote that y'all just approved, for us to spend to add the extra cameras.
On things that you're getting quotes on now, how long are they kinda honoring it? Like, if he brought you back a quote tomorrow, so here it is.
So some of them are like 30 days, so that's why it's really hard to pinpoint on those specific items because they keep changing. Like the John Deere one is for 30 days, but again, that's for this year's budget, not for next year's budget anymore.
All right, so this is the number, we just got the sheet, and give us the new number now for the mower, because we didn't have that earlier. You just had 40.
Yes, so we were approved for 40 for this year.
Which one was that, the Gator or the mower or the Z-Track?
It was for the reel mower.
Oh, the real mower?
It says 40, I think it's, well, on mine it says 40, but, so instead of doing that for this year, so the cost of a commercial Z-Track, is $18,501.01. The regular Z-Track, so the difference is one is for fields, and then one is just for all the other grasses at the park.
The real mower was 38.
The reel mower, no.
Priority 1, whichever one's priority 1.
Priority 1, no, that quote is no longer, that was.
And what you all got was what she initially,
Yeah, I was just gonna use the priority
just so
numbers
that
to go by.
everybody was what was handed to them.
Yeah, so that original quote was, because we waited so long to actually purchase it, they had to re-quote it for us. And it came in at $54,061 was the re-quote after the budget was approved last year, or approved this year. So it went up $15,000 roughly, with that. But
So that 55 at priority 1 is not for the John Deere rear mower?
that's taken off now. I'm not asking for that anymore.
Okay.
Yep.
But the 54 is now the 40,000 real mower?
No, she had originally
Well,
got,
No.
we had approved
Sorry,
40,000
okay.
for a real
So-
mower last year, but they didn't buy it when we approved it.
Okay.
They still haven't bought it, and the price has gone up to 54,000.
Yeah, so instead of purchasing a reel mower, we want to buy 3 other pieces of equipment for this year's $40,000 approved budget.
Alright, but talking about next year's budget,
So for next year's budget, the only,
come January, let me ask this question. Based on the budget you have that we've already approved for 2022,
yep,
which one of these would you anticipate anticipate being purchased prior to December 31st, so we can say it's already done?
The commercial Z-Trac's not on there, but, take off the John Deere Z-Trac
Okay.
and take off the John Deere Gator, not the Pro Grade, but just the Gator. Those two plus a second lawnmower.
In 2022.
Yes. So the only thing that I'm actually going to be asking for that we really need, for 2023 is gonna be that John Deere bunker rake, because we only have one right now. And that is also called the infield machine that we rake all of our fields.
So it goes from priority 3 to priority 1.
Yes. And then the Pro Gator would be like a priority 2 if we put that in there, and then we're kind of set on not asking for a real mower, if we can purchase those other 2 lawnmowers for this year.
What do you, I'm sorry, but I'm a little bit confused, Tim. What are you planning on buying now?
So what we're planning on buying this year is 2 new lawnmowers.
What are they on this list?
Is that what you're calling a Z-Trac?
Z-Trac, yes.
You gonna buy 2 of those?
Yes.
How much?
At $18,500
No,
each?
so one is a commercial one, so there's there's 2 different types of lawnmowers to use on fields, and then one is just for regular ground. Because we're not getting the real mower, which cuts grass at a lower, height. So the John Deere Z-Trac, which is on your list, that I originally asked for next year, is quoted at $11,732.71.
Okay.
That we would like to purchase this year under the amount that we've already been.
And there's no other brand out there.
So this
That'll
is
do
all
with
from
this one.
Sourcewell, from John Deere. Every other quote that we've ever gotten before, we're gonna get 2 more quotes, but every other quote we've ever gotten, John Deere's always come in cheapest.
Okay. And the reason I ask is because the Hustlers are commercial mowers,
Mhm.
and so is like a Skag or something like
Right,
that.
yeah.
Could
So,
Could be.
yeah, so we are gonna get other quotes, but this is the only quote that I had as
Okay.
of right now.
No, that's fine.
And then the John Deere Gator, not the Pro Gator, but the Gator listed. We are no longer asking for 2023. We'd like to purchase it this year. It comes in at $77,1817.
But this is already budgeted.
Yes, for this year. So that $40,000 we were already budgeted for a real mower would cover these 3 pieces of equipment.
Okay.
Okay, on there you'll see a mower, gator, trailer, axle. We desperately need one. It says 6x12. I was talking to Todd earlier. We were gonna try to quote out an 8x12. The only quotes I had were for the 6x12. Having a smaller trailer is easier for when we just quick runs over to cut grass at the other parks rather than.
I'm gonna check. I think we have one of these at the road department.
If we do,
An 8x12.
fantastic. We just definitely need one.
Because it's too small for what we use it for. They just basically haul junk on it now,
Yeah.
so.
And I don't even have the truck on my list anymore. Talking with Todd, we already have a truck that the county just purchased that, would suffice for us. So, truck is off of that, and then, like I said, the cameras, are listed on there, and that was the best estimate I could use based upon the quote that Jacob had already given for the previous cameras that, y'all had approved.
Alright.
Do I need to talk about SPOS?
Do I?
Do I need to talk about SPOS request?
I mean, you can. I don't know what your splash dollars even look like right now.
Yeah.
Do you?
Roughly, the last number I had.
And what is that?
So the last number I had was roughly about 200,000, so.
Yeah. I wouldn't worry about splash right now.
Okay.
We still gotta digest this, and we got some cleanup to do in here so we can get to the final one.
Okay.
but I do appreciate your time of explaining what you do have so far. And I'm sure we'll be working together over the next day or two, because you're going out of town next week, so it has to be done this week.
Yeah. Do you want numbers on, I just got it, no. So our numbers for participants, for
The revenue.
Yes.
I mean, I have, so, and my revenue is probably not as, as accurate as yours, because I'm basing my sports engine stuff off since it's not a financial one. But, so, I have for, as of this year, like for rec desk, so far, we started using rec desk May 1st, so far for rec desk, we're at $62,330.60. Sports engine, I have $69,665, but again, that's me doing rough estimates on, because it's not a financial system, so doing rough estimates on that. And then my cash and checks that we have deposited, which, so far, I have $45,207. So that total is $177 is what I have, but I know that's different than what you
That's fine.
have.
And that's from all sources? I mean,
That's everything we have as of, like, all of our, facility rentals, registration, all of our programs, everything. The only thing it does not include is our basketball, because basketball just started registration. So.
How does that compare to previous years?
As far as revenue, I think our participant, like our registration number is gonna be up, as far as that.
This number
but
compared to previous years, we don't have that in front of us.
I don't have that in front of me.
So we don't know what 21 or 20 revenue numbers were.
I know earlier we talked about it was really low, so.
Okay, so 21 actual, program fees for the year was $125,451, and we're already at $136,898.
So how much more do you anticipate?
You still have basketball to go,
We
so.
still have basketball, our reindeer run, everything. Basketball last year, I'm sorry, I forgot a document, so I screenshot it, when I did that. Basketball last year, we were at 316 for numbers, and based upon that, like, if we do 300, that's another 22.5, roughly, plus reindeer run registration, which we usually get between 150, 190 participants at $20 a piece, so.
That's really cheap for a run.
Yeah.
Because most runs are $35 to $50.
And we end up getting a lot of sponsors for the reindeer run, so that's what helps our, because we still have to pay, out for awards, but she discounts those, about 50% and everything, so, the reindeer run never made money until 2018, and we've made money every year, so, thanks.
Just to help me a little bit, this stuff that it appears there's been some procrastination on purchasing that was in the 2022 budget, and now as we approach the end of the year, we want to get it. Could we say that either 2 weeks from now at our next meeting or the first meeting in October, we can have some quotes and some specifications on what we gonna buy, and let's, if we're gonna do it, let's get it done, because I've heard back and forth on what we want this year, next year, what's been approved, and if it was approved, I'd like to get it off the table and let's be done with it.
There's also another way of looking at that. We're just about at the end of grass cutting season now. If we take those budget dollars, move over to next year, make those purchases in April of next year, then you've got another year warranty.
The only problem with that is we take a chance on with, just like with the real mower, it going up $15,000 or more, so. But I do have the quotes from John Deere, if you wanna look at those quotes.
I want to see 3 quotes, is what I want to see.
Do you want this one now, or?
I mean,
Okay.
I wanna see 3 quotes, I'm gonna put them side by side, and then we're gonna look at them. I mean, I don't wanna speak out of turn,
Yeah, no.
but that's how I compare things. If we're gonna compare things, let's put them all on the table at one time.
Yeah, because originally this was not the plan up until last week when all of our lawnmowers decided to die.
All right, well, thank you. Anybody any other discussion on the budget work session? Hearing none, we'll ask for adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved. All right, let's take a break. It's been a long, 2.5 hours. I gotta swap paperwork. We'll get together in a day or two. I don't even know what tomorrow's gonna hold, I really don't. Here lately, you haven't been able to tell, but we'll try to get together
Hey, Will, how are you?
and get some of this nailed down.
I'm just glad to see you. I'll do for you, Will.
I'm gonna sign up for the reindeer run
Me too.
and get me a shirt that says, I didn't run, but I paid.
I ran one time, and I was in a, only
Is somebody
participant
gonna
in
be up
that
there?
age group, so I got one of the medals.
The same
I got the half free.
I got you.
The year that I done it, it rained with the reindeer running.
I've done it.
It take me so long, it take me so long to get there, let me look on.
Where it's like, they're starting out different in that area, where you do that, is that church. So they're gonna look at to help with the. Yes.
This budget is coming pretty close. Imminent because,
I apologize for being late today, just completely slipped my mind, I was thinking,
no, it was fine, that everything else was very smooth. That's it. That was.
I know this, but I still would give it to you.
Damn, if I know.